What's up? Welcome everyone to the Quickstart Webinar. My name is Noah Harris. I'm going to be your host today. We do this webinar every single Thursday, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. This is the 21st time in a row that we've done it. Let me pull up my slides. On this webinar every single week, we practice fundamentals. We practice best practices. We talk private money. Why do we do that? Because you never know when you're going to meet your next private money lender. You never know when you're going to meet your next great borrower if you're lending, right? So we like to stay sharp. We like to practice. And I just think this adds a ton of value. And we've been doing this every single week for the last 21 weeks through Private Money Club. If you don't know what Private Money Club is, you're just tuning in for the first time. I'll tell you all about it, you guys. But we got a really cool webinar planned. I'm going to share with you some good tips, some strategies, different things to work on, so on and so forth. All right. So if you've been on my webinars before, you know this. I am real big on disclaimers. I try to make this sound hard and difficult and let you know that, nothing comes easy. Like, this is all about building relationships and meeting the right people and having conversations and knowing what questions to ask and how to ask them, right? So like, if you're on the lender side of the coin, just know that, hey, if I'm a private money, if I want to put my money to work, this is a great place to do it. Right? Where else can a person make a double-digit rate of return and have it secured by collateral that's worth much more? Private money lending makes a lot of sense, but we got to know what questions to ask. We got to know what types of documents we might want to have to make sure that that collateral is actually secured and recorded, right? So these are the types of things that we talk about. So on the borrower side too, like, we got to make sure that, we're finding the right people to work with and doing things the right way. If you want to get great at borrowing money, become the absolute best borrower that you can be. What does that mean? That means you put your lenders on a pedestal, right? You go above and beyond to protect them, to protect their funds. And by doing so, you also protect yourself, right? You keep your deals safe. So I'm going to give you guys case studies. Lots of times I share case studies. I share real life stuff. So these are things in real estate deals and properties that we've purchased. And I try to give you real life examples. So today I'm going to give you I'll probably share some case studies and things like that, right? I am a real estate investor. So I'm just teaching from my perspective as a real estate investor, someone who does this business every single day, someone who talks private money lending every single day with my private money lenders, right? That's my responsibility in my wife and I's business here in Columbia, South Carolina. So I'm not an accountant. I'm not a real estate attorney. I'm not a financial advisor by any means. But one of the biggest things that I'll tell you day in and day out is, if you want to get great at borrowing funds, surround yourself with those people. Surround yourself with licensed business professionals to make sure that you're not carrying all that weight, all that responsibility, and you're making sure that your lenders are getting the advice that they need, and you're getting the advice that you need from the right person, right? If anyone's taken my accelerator class before, I teach a 4-week intensive course through Private Money Club called the Accelerator Program. The very first thing that I teach in the Accelerator Program is how to surround yourself, whether you're a borrower or a lender, with people that know what the heck they're doing, right? That have that expertise in their field. If I'm going to be fixing and flipping properties, I want to have the best contractors, right? Licensed, insured. I want to have the best real estate agents. I want to find a top 1% real estate agent in my marketplace that I can get my data from, that I can get their opinion from. And that's not just for me as the investor, but it's also for my lender, right? It's also for my lender. So on these calls, we try to teach both sides of the coin. We teach from the borrower's perspective. We teach from the lender's perspective. Right, it's going to be awesome. So, all right, cool. Chat box is blowing up. What's up, everybody? Everyone's taking notes. You got your AI assistants in the building. All right, love the consistency. Jeremiah, I'm so glad that you said consistency. How did you know? How did you know that I was going to hit consistency today? How did you know that? All right. So yes, first half we practice fundamentals. Second half, we get into some golden nuggets and the different things to share to help your real estate investment business grow. What's up, Jamie Wolf? Good to see you on the call. Jamie's got a deal on Private Money Club right now. I saw. Great job. I want to give Jamie Wolf, who's on this call right now, a shout out for an excellent presentation, an excellent package. She presented her deal on Private Money Club. It's beautifully put together. If you're in Private Money Club, go check it out. Go check it out. Yeah, great job. Yeah, and here we go. This is the 21st session that we've ever done. Whenever I think of the number 21, I think of Deion Sanders, I think of prime time. And, one of the goals, love him or hate him, one thing that I love about Deion Sanders is the confidence. And it's if I could help everyone on this call have that swagger, have that confidence that if you're a borrower and you're talking to someone about becoming a private money lender with you, you're so confident in what you're saying and what you're doing, right? And all of that, but all of that comes with practice. Like if when you watch Deion Sanders play football when he was in his prime, like he lined up, he knew they weren't even going to throw the ball his way because he was going to intercept it. He was that good. Like, how can we become that good at having conversations and really understanding what it is that we're doing as borrowers and lenders, right? So shout out to everyone who's been on this call on a consistent basis. One thing about being confident is being consistent, right? And if you guys have been on this call every Thursday for X number of weeks, if you're just discovering it for the first time, I encourage you to set your calendars and be here every Thursday to not just learn this information, but be like the Jamie Wolf and go out and implement what it is that we're teaching. Go out and take action, and don't just eat your lunch and listen to me talk about private money lending. Take what I'm teaching you and go out and implement it in your real estate investing business, right? Which is awesome. All right, cool. So here we go. So if you're just tuning in for the first time, can you just say, my first time, I'm here for the first time. Hi, everybody. How's it going? This is my first Quickstart webinar. Anybody here for the first time? Right? We don't even have to talk about this slide if no one's here for the first time. All right, cool. I like it. Welcome. My name is Noah Harris. If you're like me, you like to know, hey, who are we learning from? I'm a real estate investor from Columbia, South Carolina. This is what I do for a living. My goal for you is to create a 100% track record in your real estate investing, lending, or borrowing business. Right? If you're a real estate investor, nothing more that I want than for you guys to go out, fix and flip a property, pay back your lenders, and do it over and over and over and over again. Right? Do what you say you're going to do. Right? And for my lenders, if we can create a 100% track record with your lending business, oh my goodness, how great would that be? Right? If you can make 10, 15, 10, 12, 15, 16, 10, 9, consistent numbers, right? All the way to the top, we're going to be okay. But if we lose once, man, does that hurt? Right? What's Warren Buffett's number one rule of making money? What's Warren Buffett's number one rule of making money? Or investing? His number one rule of investing, what is it? Never lose money, right? Yeah, don't lose money. Yeah, don't lose, James said. Right, beautiful, right? Private money lending is relationship based. So you guys are on this call, you're out here, you're active in the chat box, you're attending events, you're taking classes. Maybe you're going to local real estate investor clubs. Maybe you're on the forum in Private Money Club. Maybe you're posting deals in Private Money Club. How are you creating these relationships, right? So Private Money Club is a platform for borrowers and lenders to meet one another, right? So what do? What are the steps that you take? How are you cultivating great relationships? We're going to talk a little bit about that today, which is awesome. All right. So I've been working with Private Money Club now as an instructor for almost a year. I think I'm coming up on my year anniversary as a coach. I teach a program called the Accelerator Program. So we do this webinar once a week, every Thursday, right? We practice. Okay. If you're on this call and you're like, hey, I would love to accelerate my learning. I want to get this done much quicker, much faster. I just want to be engulfed in all of this, right? I really want to crank it up and get things done quicker. Check out the Accelerator Program. It's a training class that I teach. It's twice a week for 4 weeks, and I give you 4 extra weeks of support to help make sure everything that you're learning, you're implementing and doing. And Jose can share the link in the chat box with you guys if you're interested in taking that through Private Money Club as well. But this is relationship based. One thing about Private Money Club that you're going to find. So like today we are going to practice elevator pitches. So we're going to practice like key floors to your elevator, right? We practice that every week. What's interesting about Private Money Club though is this is a place where every single person, I shouldn't give an absolute, but overwhelming majority of the people in Private Money Club understand what private money is. They understand how, like the concept of it, how it works, so on and so forth. So we don't necessarily have to have elevator pitches, right? So if you're brand new to this, I'm curious. Let me just ask you guys a real quick question, just to see who's in the room here, right? See who's in the webinar room with us. How many of you are currently, if you're in Private Money Club already, say I'm in the club, right? Just let us know in the chat box. If you're a PMC member, let me know, right? Okay, cool. Hey, Linda, what's going on? Good to see you. Hey, Christy, Dwayne. All right, cool. I'm in. All right, cool. You guys are, I like to keep things active, right? So make sure your fingers are ready, your thumbs are ready if you're on your phone, right? If you're driving, don't worry about it, right? You can let me know later. All right, cool. How many of you, we already saw some of you are brand new, so I'm not going to ask that question, but it seems like we got a good little mixture here. Here's what I believe. Joining Private Money Club is an absolute game changer. Now, there's a free membership, so you can go to the link, PMC or privatemoneyclub.com, or Jose can put a link in there. There's a free option. Create a profile, poke around, request a demo from Jose. Hey, no, show me how to navigate through here. Show me where to find the deal section. Show me where I can post my deals. And then there's the Premier membership. I would leapfrog it, go Premier, get in the club. It's going to make a difference in a person's real estate investing business. I'm telling you, if you're cultivating those relationships like you should be. All right. So every single week we hold this webinar. We start on time. We keep it real estate. All right, we keep it real estate. Participation is encouraged. Okay, participation is encouraged. You guys are doing great with that. Great job. And if you have a question, just ask it in the Q&A section. Okay, so you see the Q&As, it's different because lots of times the chat's just going crazy, and I miss questions. So if you have a question, ask it in the Q&A. We got Jose Harkin with the PMC team in the chat box, here to help you guys, and all experience levels are welcome. You're going to find people in Private Money Club and probably on this webinar as well. Some folks are brand new and some folks have done over 1,000 deals. We love you all the same, right? Everyone has goals. And so share with us what your goals are. We can help you hit your goals no matter what that is. Whether you're a borrower or a lender, we're going to hit that on both sides of the coin here today. All right, so here's why Chris has asked us, Chris Naugle, Stephen Nagy, partners of PMC, our fearless leaders. They say, hey, look, Noah, if we want to work on 4 different things. We want to work on helping people establish credibility. We're going to hit that today, right? What does that mean? Well, as a borrower, how are you establishing credibility with potential lenders? As a lender, how are you establishing credibility as a lender with your borrowers? A few weeks ago, I posted a deal in Private Money Club. I got a lot of people that were interested. Some folks had a good process to set up a call to interview me, and some of them shared like some of their policies and like company policies, like or lending policies. Like, hey, this is what we look for. Can you do this? Can you provide these documents? And then literally, I had other people that were like, I'm interested in partnering with you, and that was the email that I got from them. And so in my mind, I'm like, okay, who would you want to go with? Would you want to go with the person that seems to know what they're doing, has a system, is serious about it? Or do you want to go with the person that their email looks like it could be a virus if you open it, right? There's like there's no punctuation. It's just like, a text message or something, right? So credibility is important for both sides of the coin. We're going to talk a little bit more about that today. Clarity, this is huge. Like, I mean, if I asked you guys right now, hey, can you name at least 3 documents that you should be requesting from a borrower if you're a lender, or another way to word this, name 3 documents that a borrower should be providing to their lenders when borrowing and lending money. Can you guys name at least 3 things? We talk about some of these things every single week on this call. Can you name 3 things? All right, Celeste got 1, promissory note, right? Insurance. Ooh, Chris said the deed of trust for the mortgage. I love it. Okay, cool. There we go. Boom, right out of the gate. See, there's almost 100 people on this webinar right now. And when I say, hey, can you name 3 documents if you're a borrower that you like to provide your lender? And then all of a sudden, like everyone's like, I don't want to be wrong, or I'm not sure. Let's see what everyone else says, right? So we want to make sure that everyone that's on this call has clarity around the foundation of what makes private money lending great. It's the collateral. What gives us collateral? The paperwork, right? Paperwork, personal guarantee. I love it. I love it. You guys are doing great. So we talk credibility, we talk clarity, right? And then if we have the first two and we're practicing it, just like Deion Sanders said in that second slide, right? We're going to have confidence. We're going to have confidence. That's going to come, right? That's going to come. And what's cool about Private Money Club and this platform is we have an amazing community, right? For those of you who have been part of Private Money Club for a long time, you know this, you see this. It's just so nice being able to talk to people about real estate. It's tough. It's tough with family and friends sometimes, right? And lots of times, let me ask you this question to help relate here. I'll ask you this question. How many of you know someone right now that would make a great private money lender, but they don't know it yet? Does anyone on this call know someone that would make a great private money lender, but they don't know it yet? Okay, all right, cool. Lots of yeses there, right? Lots of times this could be a family member or a friend. And I love helping family. I love working with friends. But what's interesting is it usually seems that those are the last people to become our private money lenders. The people that are close to you, family, friends. You know, I'm doing a deal next week. My aunt is funding the deal. I've been doing this, guys. I've been using private money lenders for over 11 years. This is the first deal I've ever done with her. You follow me? So we're gonna get good at this. But here's what's cool about Private Money Club is a community where people like to say yes to opportunities. And lots of times, you know, you ever heard the saying, a confused mind says no? So if we go to a family member or friend or someone who's never heard of what private money lending is, we now have to explain it to them. Are we doing a good job? Are we saying the right things? If they're confused, their answer is no, right? As it should be, right? You should only be investing in things that you understand, in my opinion, right? So anyways, community here, we get it. We got each other's backs, right? It's all about creating that win-win situation. So every single week we practice. I'll either give you a weekly lesson or a case study. Today I'll kind of do a little bit of both. And it's all about making moves, right? Making moves. I should have switched out this slide. So here are 5 different things that you can do to keep the momentum going after today's call. Number 1, practice what we're going to go over. Practice the fundamentals. Take control of your money. If you don't even know where to start, schedule a call with Jose or give him a call. You can click the link there or give him a call at that 716 phone number that he just posted. Consistently stay on these calls, right, to keep the momentum going. If you don't have a PMC profile yet, if you don't have a Private Money Club profile yet, go create one. Create a free one, poke around, get your picture there, fill out the profile, tell a little bit about yourself, create the profile. All right, get going, get the ball rolling. It's free, right? It's free to create a profile. Why wouldn't you do that? And then leapfrog, have Jose give you a demo, and then join with as a premium member. My accelerator course is coming up. We start August 12th. Enrollment is open for that. If you want extra help in your real estate lending or borrowing aspect of your business, you know, that's something to definitely look into. Okay. This slide is from last week. So the Premier PMC coaching was last week. Don't mind that. All right. So here we go. All right. Let's get into the fundamentals. Again, a couple questions are coming through in the chat. If you got a question, just post it in the Q&A so that I know that it's for me. Private money loan. What is a private money loan? Right? This is our elevator. We're practicing this stuff every single week. Well, it's real simple. It's a loan secured by real estate. I like to name these 4 little words here and just kind of like, if I could get another tattoo on my arm, maybe it would say just like a bank, because that's how important those 4 little words have been in our real estate investing business. So when you're explaining private money lending, like when I say private money lender, I'm talking about a person. I'm talking about Laura. I'm talking about Howard. I'm talking about Francisco. I'm talking about Eugene. I'm talking about Kelly. I'm talking about Manny. I'm talking about a person. All right, not an institution. Not a broker that's working with a fund. I'm talking about an individual. All right. So in Private Money Club, people seem to really understand what private money lending is, So not necessarily have to take them through that elevator, but let's just say I was working with someone outside of Private Money Club. Let's say I was talking to a family member, a friend. My son plays travel sports, so he plays hockey. So if I was talking to another parent at practice or something like that, right? And they're asking me what I do for a living, and they're fascinated by real estate. Oh, wow, real estate investing. I've always wanted to do that. Oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm a dentist. Oh, you're a dentist. How long have you been doing that? 20 years. You're interested in real estate. Why haven't you ever done it before? Why, I don't have the time. I don't even know where I would start, things like this, right? So you start hearing all these reasons why people haven't invested in real estate. That's important to know and important to play off of, because you can really help people get involved in the real estate industry through lending, right? If you're the borrower. And we're going to flip the coin. I'll give you some perspective from a lender's viewpoint as well here in a minute. But it's a loan secured by real estate. And I like hammering this down and nailing this down because as you're explaining private money lending, it's let's put it in a context where everyone can relate. What does that mean? Well, that means if I'm talking to someone who has never done this before, how can I have them understand what being a private money lender is in less than 30 seconds? How can I make that happen? The best way for me to make that happen is share an experience that they've probably experienced before with them. And this is what I would say. I say, hey, do you own your own home? Yes, I own my own home. All right, when you went and bought your house, did you go out and get a mortgage or did you pay cash? I got a mortgage. Okay, cool. And then when you got the mortgage, you went to the closing table and you signed up a big thick packet of documents at the attorney's office, right? Yep. Okay, cool. So you signed a mortgage, you signed a promise to pay back the loan. Yep. You're guaranteeing you're going to pay back the loan. The house is collateral. Yep. Okay, and you used beforehand. You had to call your insurance agent and have and get the bank listed, on the insurance for the house. Yep. I had to do all those things. We do the exact same thing for our lenders. So we work with common everyday people just like yourself who want to put money to work and make a great rate of return, have it secured by real estate, just like a bank, right? Just like a bank would want. And watch the light bulbs start to go off. And they're like, oh my gosh, okay, cool. So instead of me going to Wells Fargo or you going to Wells Fargo like I did to buy my house, you're going to come to me because I've got money sitting aside, not really making a great rate of return. And you're going to give me the same documents that I gave to a bank when I bought my house. It's the same thing. Yep. Boom. Bingo. The light bulbs are going to go off. Right. Now, for my lenders on this call, Noah, what is this? How does this help us? What does this look like? If I was a private money lender that wanted more opportunities, right? Here's what's cool. You guys, if you have 10 different choices and people to borrow from, wouldn't that be amazing? Or 10 different choices of people to lend money to, wouldn't that be amazing? Instead of having like one or two, or like get in Private Money Club, make a bunch of relationships, make a bunch of friends, see what everybody's got going on, and then pick one that you want to work with. You got tons and tons of choices, right? So if I were looking to find someone to lend my funds to, I'd be having conversations, I'd be picking up the phone, I'd be asking people about their business models and things like this. Let's just take it out of Private Money Club for a second, and just let's say you're someone who's a lender, you've got funds you want to put to work. Let's say it's an IRA from you had 401ks from previous employers, you got them all together, you're ready to rock and roll. Maybe you go to like a local real estate investor association, like a local real estate club, and maybe you go up to the person who's running the meeting and say, look, who's the best person in here, as far as consistency and core values, and who do you have a lot of respect for that does a lot of business? And they're going to say that person, this person, her over there, she's amazing, whatever, right? I would then go and have conversations with those people, and I'd say, hey, let me ask you a question. How are you funding your deals right now? I'm using a hard money lender. I've got a bank that I work with. I'm using my own cash. Really? Let me ask you a question. You work with a hard money lender. What interest rates are you paying? I pay 13%, but they're pretty easy to work with. Okay, cool. Well, what if I could give you 12 and also be easy to work with? Would that be worth having a cup of coffee? To learn more about working with each other. What do you think they're going to say? Yes, right? They're going to say yes. So, but here's the thing. When I talk to people who are real estate investors, even in my community, but really all over the US, and I ask them, hey, how are you funding your deals? Majority of them are using hard money loans, right? Or their own cash. And that astonishes me. I think a lot of that has to do because they don't necessarily understand private money lending fully, right? They stick with what they know. They know hard money, they know using their own cash. It's the same thing with private funds, right? It's the same thing, but most people have never had a conversation before with a person about borrowing $500,000. Most people have never gone to a person to ask for 100 grand, 200 grand, 300 grand, 50 grand, $1 million, right? So they feel as though the best route for them to go is to a fund, to a hard money fund, right? Or use their own cash if they got it, right? So by you introducing the concept of what private money lending is, you've now gained credibility with this person. And what are you going to say? You're going to say, hey, look, just like your hard money lender, it's simple it's easy to work with us. We don't charge as much, right? There's maybe less paperwork, however you want to do your business, right? But all we ask, same thing, just like any bank would want. We want a mortgage, promissory note, personal guarantee, and to be listed on the insurance, right? So what are you doing? You're educating people, right? So elevator pitches can be for borrowers and for lenders here, guys, right? I hope you guys are getting some good stuff out of this.
You ever feel like you don't have control of your real estate business or your money? That's right. The big banks and the institutions, they're in control, right? I know you felt that before. Private Money Club puts you back in the driver's seat. As members often tell us, it's a total game changer. Join the community of like-minded lenders and borrowers by going to privatemoneyclub.com and sign up.
Is this good? Are you guys learning? Say, oh yeah, in the chat box. Say, oh yeah, if you're learning stuff, right? Do you appreciate practicing this? For those of you who have been on the call, we've done this 21 times. How many of you have had these conversations with people before, right? And how did it go? How many of you have used just like a bank? Has anyone used just like a bank? Type just like a bank if you use those words, just like a bank. Christine says she has. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm learning. All right, cool. All right, love it. Just like a bank. Now, what seems to happen when just the like a banks are coming in. So what's going to happen is once people like catch on, and I know the conversations. I can see once it clicks, I can look at their face and say, oh, they get it. It's always about the money, because you mentioned, if you did it the way I just did it, you mentioned a great interest rate. Oh, high interest rate secured by real estate. What's that person thinking? They're thinking high interest rate, right? So you got to have figured out what that looks like. What do you pay if you're a borrower? What do you charge if you're a lender? Get it ready. Don't not think about this. Don't not be prepared, because people are going to ask you, right? So they're going to say, hey, well, tell me about what you said, high interest rate. What does that look like? So for my company and my business, we pay anywhere from 8 to 12% annualized interest. Each loan opportunity is unique, right? That's what I say. That's on my website. It's on all my posts, right? 8 to 12%, each loan opportunity is unique. And as cool as there's this little thing called optimism bias. So whenever you say 8 to 12, where's everyone's mind going? 12, right? And so they'll want to have the conversations, right? They'll want to learn more. If you're a lender, hey, what do you charge? Hey, we charge anywhere from 10 to 15%. Each loan opportunity is unique. Each situation is unique, right? So just send me what you got. We'll talk it over and we'll figure out something that works for both of us, right? So show me the money. Have that ready. That's the second floor, right? That's the second floor, just like a bank. Cool. I love it. All right, what we provide. So this slide right here is really, yes, we are going to do these things, but we're going to do these things and more. Okay, so this isn't the end all be all, but for conversation purposes, if we're practicing our elevator pitch and we're teaching people about becoming our private money lenders, or teaching people about becoming our private money borrowers, right? These are kind of like the foundations. These are like the pillars, if you will, right? So what are we going to provide? Well, just like a bank, promissory note, right? Outlines the terms of the loan, how we're getting paid back, the interest rate that we're charging, where to send the check to, all of that stuff, right? Promissory note. Number 2, mortgage, deed of trust. Okay, this is what's going to secure your funds, right? So, and I'll get into that in a minute. Promissory note, mortgage, deed of trust, personal guarantee. and then insurance, just like a bank would want. Noah, tell me about the personal guarantee. I had a great conversation this week with someone who's actually on this call, and they were like, "Hey, Noah, personal guarantee. Like, can you tell me a little bit more about that? Why you do that? Things like that." So, if you were a lender, there's a very high probability that when you're lending, you're going to be, if you're lending on a real estate deal to a real estate investor, there's a real high probability that you're going to be lending to some sort of entity, right? Like an LLC, as an example. Okay, so, but you've been talking to so and so, and so might be the owner, the managing member of that LLC, right? So you have this relationship with a person that you've been talking to and on the phone with and emailing, and then you get the paperwork and they're like, all right, we're buying it in our LLC, right? I just feel as a borrower, if I'm going to be borrowing someone's funds and it's going into the LLC, right? The LLC owns the real estate. I also want to be personally liable for that loan. I feel like if I'm borrowing someone's retirement funds and they trust me, right? They're trusting me, not my LLC. They're trusting me. I'm going to provide the personal guarantee every time, right? That's just how we do business. And if you are borrowing funds, talk to your accountant, talk to your attorney about this, you guys. But if you go to any hard money lending company, like on their website, and you go down to frequently asked questions, you're going to see that they don't lend on primary residences, and you're going to see that they don't lend to individuals. They prefer to lend to some sort of entity like an LLC, right? So if you're serious about borrowing funds, being a real estate investor, wouldn't it make sense to look at what the hard money lending companies are doing and what they require, and then go out there and mirror it, right? So there's reasoning behind this. A lot of it has to do with like the amount of interest you can charge and things like that. But as a lender, you want to be lending for investment purposes, for commercial purposes, and we want to be lending to entities, right? But because we've been having conversations with people, I also want to see a personal guarantee as well, if that makes sense, right? Insurance, just like a bank. Hard money lenders require a personal guarantee. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Do we have access to the recording? Yeah, they post these on YouTube. I know they're out there. I'm not sure. I don't have the link handy. Maybe Jose can help you with that. All right. This is a great question, Serge. Great question, Sergio. Any questions, type them in the Q&A, because I would hate to have missed this one. So can you give a detailed explanation of lender's title policy insurance? All right. So next step, right? Right now we're in the elevator, but when it comes crunch time and you're ready to do a deal, I'll just give you an example, Sergio, of like what I would say. And if you were a lender and you were doing a deal with me, the process that you would go through. Let's say I'm gonna use Sergio as an example, and Sergio says, "Hey, no, I'm really interested in funding this deal that I saw you post on Private Money Club." We get on a phone, we talk for 30 minutes, start building a relationship, figuring out what his goals are, what he wants to do, so on and so forth, and making sure that we're good, right? Down the road, when Sergio and I decided to do a deal together, here's how I do it. I say, Sergio, hey, look, I don't know what state you're in. I'm in South Carolina. Let's just say he's in Ohio. Let's say Ohio. So I say, hey, Sergio, I know you're in Ohio. You might not know real estate attorneys down here in South Carolina. Here's what I do for all of my lenders. We work with a company called Bell Carrington. That's our attorney's office. We work with a specific attorney at that office. I will email him all of your information, all of the loan information, what we'd agreed upon, my information, and then they're actually starting title work right now for us, but I will also add to it a lender's title policy as well to make sure if anything comes up down the road, you're protected, we're protected, everyone's protected. And then what I do, Sergio, is I have everyone, excuse me, let me slow down a little bit. I have all my lenders. I will say, hey, I've got a great team here that can help draft your documents for you, right? So you're going to need a mortgage, you're going to need a promissory note, personal guarantee, things like that, right? So they can draft all of that for you. Being that they're also doing the closing for me, they'll probably have you sign something that says that they represent me in this aspect and they're representing you with help of drafting your documents. But at least because you're in Ohio and I'm in South Carolina, you know everything's good and how it should be for the state of South Carolina, because that's where the real estate is, right? So I try to make it super easy for my lenders to work with me, if that makes sense, or deed of trust if you're in a different state or whatever, right? or if we're in a different state. So I get everything together, and then I try to get it to you within 72 hours of closing, if not sooner, so that you can review it. And if you had an attorney back where you live that wanted to look it over and make sure everything looked good and felt good for you there, I recommend doing that too, right? If that makes sense. So we always buy title insurance as real estate investors, but then we go above and beyond and pay for a lender's title policy for you as well. All right. So just different ways to do it. But at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we have what we're looking at here on the screen at a minimum. Okay. All right. Show me the money. Yeah. And here's part 2 of that question. Who's writing all this stuff? Who's drafting these documents, right? Are we going to go online and just find something online or whatever it's a mortgage and print it off and hope that it's okay for the state we're doing business in and hope that it's got all the right provisions in there? No, right? We're gonna hire a great real estate attorney, right? Figure this stuff out. If you're a borrower and you're on the call, for those of you who have taken my accelerator class, you guys know this. Every single time that I teach the accelerator course, the very first thing that we talk about is building your team, right? You're only as strong as your team. So if you're a borrower or a lender, we got to start figuring out our team, right? So from a borrower's perspective, the very first person that I'm looking for is a real estate attorney. Why? Because I want to make sure that I can feel really good about who's doing the title searches, who's doing the paperwork, who's drafting the documents, so that I can brag about that person and that team to potential lenders, right? Because I know that they're going to be the ones that most likely are going to be helping them with the paperwork. I want to make sure that they're giving them a good customer service, they know what they're doing, so on and so forth, right? So all these documents are prepared and recorded by a licensed professional, right? I see people all the time that they make mistakes. They have lots of times if there's something that happened where a private money loan didn't go the way someone wanted it to go, it's usually they didn't have those documents. Maybe they only had a promissory note, but they didn't have a mortgage or a deed of trust, right? So we got to make sure that we've got all of those if you want to feel really good when your head hits the pillow at night, right? And the second mistake I've seen people make, and lots of times they don't realize this, but if someone says, hey, I'll give you a mortgage, but is the mortgage, you got to do your due diligence and make sure that the mortgage is getting recorded in the county, right? You got to record the lien in the county. And I like to just make sure I'm always hiring attorneys, whether it's lending or borrowing. I want an attorney involved in the process, and I want to make it crystal clear to the attorney that I'm asking them to have everything recorded for me, right? I don't want to be responsible for that. I don't want my borrower to be responsible for that. I want the real estate attorney to handle it right away so it's done, if this makes sense. All right, cool. Great. Let me just check the Q&A. All right, great question. Why would you set up an S Corp or LLC if you're going to circumvent them with a personal guarantee? A lot of it, I'm trying to think. I would look up, Kelly, great question. I would look up the Frank Dodd Act, and I would look up, what's it called? High cost mortgages. So you have to make sure that it's when you're lending, okay, if you're the lender, you don't want to lend to a person. If you lend to a person and let's say that person then moves into the property, that person then claims that property as a primary residence, but you're charging them 12% interest or 14% interest, and you don't have all the paperwork that goes along with with them acknowledging what they're paying, and then there's a process for that. In the residential real estate lending world, right? We're not in the residential world, but if you're lending to a person, that could get cloudy, right? So you want to, I like to boast that, hey, we have an LLC, not just for us, but to protect our lenders, right? So the lenders can charge us more money, if that makes sense, right? So check out the Frank Dodd Act, high cost mortgages. We're trying to avoid all of that. So we keep it commercial, investment purposes, LLCs, entities, so on and so forth. However, my LLC, it's me and my wife. So at the end of the day, we're calling the shots. We're the one building the relationships and things like this nature, right? So if someone wants a personal guarantee, hey, no, I was talking to you the whole time. Like you essentially are the company, wouldn't it make sense to do a personal guarantee? I think so, right? I think so. That's how we do it, right? Who are you using in South Carolina? Great question. So I use a company called Bell, Carrington, Price and Gregg, and my attorney's name is Andrew Montgomery. He recently took a new job. He starts in July where he's working for this title company. So I'm shopping right now. I'm shopping. I got a backup one, but right now, as of now, 2 closings next week. Andrew Montgomery at Bell, Carrington, Price and Gregg is handling it for us. So I always love giving good shout outs when shout outs are due. All right, cool. Yeah. All right. You guys liking this stuff? All right, if you're liking this stuff and you're not in Private Money Club, or you're like, man, I want to learn as much as I can, as fast as I can, click the link, schedule a blueprint call with Jose. He's in the chat, right? Because where else can a real estate investor borrow all the money that they need to fund a deal without having to go to a bank? And where else can a person put money to work at a great interest rate and have it secured by an asset that's worth much more, right? I just love bragging about this stuff. I love bragging about this stuff. Here's my little system. And then we're going to get into, I'm going to share with you kind of a homework assignment. I'm going to give you some tasks. I'm going to give you some golden nuggets here of how to take it next level. Okay. So hang tight. So this is my little system. People always ask. So I share it on the call so I don't have to have 50 offline conversations. This is what I do. I post a deal in Private Money Club, right? Join Private Money Club if you haven't already. Join PMC, post your deal. There's a whole deal section in PMC. At the same time, post it in the forum. Okay, post it in the forum. I think if you got a free membership, you can post in the forum. But at the end of the day, if I was a lender in Private Money Club and I was looking at person's profile and it was a free membership and not a premier membership, personally, I would be like, come on, what are we doing here, right? Personally, I would be like, there's plenty of people here that have gone through a little further education, a little more serious, right? Just throwing it out there. To post a deal, you got to be a member. You can also post in the forum. Do both. Post in the forum, post in the deal section, and then have a call to action. What does this look like? So in my business, I send them to my website where they learn all about what it's like working with us and kind of our thought process and our culture as a company and our experiences and so forth. And then I encourage them to schedule a time with my wife or I on a one-on-one investor meeting. So when you're on Private Money Club, remember, this is relationship based. So it's about having conversations and meeting people, okay? There's no like Excel spreadsheet. Like last week, someone was on the call and they're like, where's the Excel spreadsheet with everyone's information? It's like, no. Like you can search, you can query, you can click on profiles, right? But this is about building relationships, okay? So here's my tip to you guys. If you're posting a deal, you're posting the forum, we're only selling the next step. And the next step would be phone call or a Zoom meeting with that person, right? Let's get on. Let's see if it's good to work together, okay? And I'm a big believer in doing what I'm saying, like practicing what we preach. So before I started teaching this class, this is what I did. I said, hey, Steven, if I'm going to be on here talking to people about Private Money Club and so forth, and be the one that's introducing them to it, I got to make sure this stuff works. So that's what I did. I posted a deal, posted it on the forum. And you guys, I had over 20 great conversations with people in just a few weeks' time. And I got a couple lenders out of that. I got a lot of people that want to lend out of that. And it's the proof is in the pudding, as they say. But don't rush it. Don't rush it. Get on there, look around, schedule some time to talk with people, send some messages, and build some meaningful relationships. Okay. All right, cool. All right, here we go. This is what we're going to get into today. We still got about 15 minutes or so to teach and do and to hang out. Any questions, type them in the Q&A. I think I got everybody's answered. Deborah says, what's your opinion on pooling funds as a lender for larger properties? We just got to make sure that everything's done correctly, Deborah. That's a great question. So, if it's a deal that's like, you got to be set up the right way, right? Is it a fund that you're setting up just for accredited investors? Are you an accredited investor and there's an opportunity, like maybe that would make sense if you're not accredited, but that fund's only for accredited investors? Those are things you got to look at. For small fix and flip types of deals, I don't like pooling funds. Pooling funds is actually, if you're just like what I'm teaching you right now, Deborah, with like a mortgage, promissory note, insurance, that's not like, we're not pooling funds, right? And price points, $500,000 or less, it's easy. It's simple to find people that are like, I'd love to do that opportunity. So I think you can. You just want to make sure that the operator is really good, the property is really good, and they're doing everything the legal way, right? They're filing all the correct paperwork for the type of fund that they're starting. I hope that makes a little bit of sense, right? All right, cool. Are there investors in here for new development? Yeah, for sure. Just, how are you presenting your opportunity, right? How are you presenting your opportunity? So I was on a call with someone this week. He's taking my accelerator class starting August 12th. And it was cool. It was a great call. And we were talking actually about conversations with people that he's had in and out of Private Money Club. So he's a lender. And I hope you don't mind sharing the story, no names. But he was a lender and he was looking around and having conversations, felt really good about this person. This person seemed kind of, maybe good deal, right? But one of the things that he was talking about, he's like, hey, I talked to this one person and I kind of got like a bad feeling, and I'll tell you what he told me. He's like, this person had said that they had a lot of properties going on at the same time, double digits, and they were really experienced. It's like, okay, all right, well, what's going on there? And this person was smart enough. The lender was smart enough to say, hey, could you give me some referrals? He was smart enough to say, hey, can you tell me like maybe 3 or 4 of the last properties that you've done? Some street addresses, right? And the person that the lender was talking to kind of balked at it. And they were like, well, if I was going to put all that information together, I would just go and use hard money lending. I just go to a bank. And that to me, you guys, is an absolute red flag. That is an absolute red flag. As a lender, we want to interview people. We want to have questions. We want to know what questions to ask them. We spend a lot of time on this in the accelerator class. We want to know, about them as an operator, not just about the asset, not just about the property, not just about the house, but who's their team? Who's their contractors? Why did they pick this neighborhood? Why did they pick this state when they live in a different state? That sounds crazy to me, right? But maybe there's method behind the madness. Maybe they've got such great systems in place where they can have 20 projects going at the same time and live in a different part of the country. I don't know. But let's inspect what we expect. All right? This is so important. So important. Everything that you do on this platform, inspect what you expect. So if someone says, hey, I've got this many deals, great. Prove it. Right? Prove it. You're probably going to get a taste of what you're going to have to deal with as a lender. So and I'm telling you, right, if someone says, well, if I had to put together a list of the last 10 deals I've done, I'd just go to a bank. That's a lie. I feel as if you're going to lend a couple $100,000 to someone, the least they can do is tell you the last couple properties that they flipped, right? So this is all about credibility, you guys, and doing what you say you're going to do. It's not just about establishing credibility. It's about actually being credible. So here's some things that borrowers can do, and here are some things that lenders should do to help feel really good about the people that you're working with. All right, simple, easy breezy, nothing crazy. This isn't rocket science or anything like this, right? This is really simple. So one of the things, and I love this conversation because you know what? It was like, I got to go back. I should go back and really build out my little portfolio here and show people, right? Chris Naugle, our fearless leader, Chris Naugle, has this binder that he used to take to all his real estate club meetings when he was looking for lenders. It was like this thick with all of the deals. He had flyers and they would laminate them or put them in the sheet. So when someone was like, hey, Chris, can you tell me a little bit about your business? He's like, here's my book. Here it is. It's heavy, right? And it was cool to have like a physical copy of that, right? And Christy and I used to do this when we first got started. We got away from it. I was like, I'm going to get back into it. So here's like a little flyer, you guys, that you can use. Something like this would work. Right? So here's just 3 ideas. Number 1, have a property binder, right? Or maybe now, since we're so digital, you could have a flyer and have a Google sheet where you click on the link and it takes you to the flyer, to the PDF file. Maybe you do it like that, right? But this is simple. I created one this morning, right? Before we hopped on our call, it took me 20 minutes and I created this little package here of an example deal of what it was like. And here's what's cool. This is about, if your objective is to get more lenders, then share the information that's going to be relevant to the lender, right? It doesn't, on this sheet here, when I talk about the numbers, it doesn't say, we say it's like purchase price was this, renovation budget's this, right? We sold it for this, but we don't say, here's our profit, okay? It doesn't say that because it's not about us. It's about our lender. So the second part there says, hey, the lending results, right? And you're giving examples. You're showing people what it's like working with you. Hey, this person loaned 129.5 at a 10% annualized rate. The estimated hold time of this property was 165 days, right? And the lender made right around $5,800, right? We're sharing them an example, okay? So before, after pictures, you can put before pictures in there if you wanted to, right? But the proof is in the pudding. This doesn't take long to do. And if you just did this for every property, you spent 15 minutes for every property that you do, or that you've done in the past, you'll be surprised how quickly this can build up, right? So if you're a borrower on this call, right? If you're William Dahl and you're on this call and you're listening in, I would have my VA, I'd have my assistant, or I'd do it roll up the sleeves and do it myself. I would go and I'd put together some flyers or at least Zillow links of the last deals that you've done. So when someone messages you on Private Money Club, you can say, hey, yeah, check it out. Here's the last 50 houses that we've done. Here's the last 20 different seller financing deals that we've done, right? Because I know it's a little bit different, but let me show you what our track record is, right? And then boom, remember, I said it earlier, a confused mind says no, right? So how can we paint a clear picture of what it's going to be like working with us? So if someone is doing the proper due diligence and says, hey, tell me a little bit about your business. How many transactions have you done? Oh, we've done 20 in 5 years. Oh, that's great. Do you have anything that you could show me? Like maybe the last 5 houses? Can I look them up on Zillow? Can I look them up on realtor.com? If someone says no, that's a scam, right? Straight up. Like, why would you want to work with that person? It should be very simple for a real estate investor to say, yeah, here's the last 4 or 5 addresses of the houses that we've done, and you can take a look, right? Does that make sense, guys? Is this helpful? Simple stuff, simple questions to ask that can make an absolute difference. So, hey, go make one of these flyers, right? Go make one of these flyers. Build out your portfolio. It doesn't even have to be anything fancy. You could have an Excel spreadsheet with links to realtor.com, add links of the past houses that you've done, right? And if you're just getting started, you're just getting started. Who cares? If you haven't done any yet, hey, we're working on getting our first one done. It's all good. At least you're not pretending to be someone that you're not, okay? Now, for our lenders, again, what are we asking for? Past projects, right? Because lots of times, if you talk to someone and they're like, oh, I'm big, I'm bad, we've got 10 deals going on right now, let them talk. Let them talk about how great they are, right? And then ask them, all right, wow, that sounds amazing. Like you're crushing it. Can you give me the addresses of like 5 of those 10 houses so I can kind of check it out and see where the neighborhoods are and see what your business model is? And hopefully they give it to you. And when they do, I'll tell you, what are you looking for? Are you looking for buy dates, sell dates, right? If it's a fix and flip investor, how long ago did they buy it? When did they sell it? Did it take 6 months? Did it take a year? Has it not even sold yet and it's been 18 months, right? All of this is public records, guys. All of this. I might also ask for referrals from previous lenders. Hey, how many deals have you done? Oh, I've done 10. Oh, that's great. Why are you looking for another lender? Oh, I'm just scaling my business. Oh, that's great. Would it be cool if I called one of your other lenders to see what it's like working with you? Yeah, that's no problem. All right, great. Right? Why wouldn't you ask that? Right? But sometimes I feel like we're so eager to do a deal or to get our money working that we're not thoughtful. We don't ask good questions. We're rushing, right? Don't rush. There's no need to rush, right? I know many of you on this call, you might have IBC policies and you got your own bank and you want to put that money to work and you're like, I got to get my money working. I've spent all this time getting everything consolidated in one spot so I could be my own bank and make great interest rates. Take your time, man. Educate yourself. educate yourself, right? Learn about where you're putting your money, all right? And wait for the right person, right? How do we educate ourselves? Being on these webinars, taking these classes, coming to money tanks, coming to the events, right? We have blueprints. We have blueprints. All right, so I'm gonna share something real quick with you guys as an example. Let me pull this up here. Let me pull this up. Like, what does this look like? No, what does this look like? What do you mean? I'm a lender. Can you elaborate a little bit more? Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. All right, here we go. Okay, so I had this one here. That's the slide I just shared with you, right? This is one of our projects. Okay, so if you're like, hey, can you give me some addresses here? Yeah, everything's public record. So really, and it's usually online. So I would just, number one, if someone gives you an address, yeah, you can check out our last 3 projects. Here's the addresses. Oh, okay, cool. I just go to like Zillow and just make sure those houses are there. Number one. Number two, like, what did they sell for? When did they sell? You can find out a lot just by looking on Zillow. You can see, okay, yeah, Noah said it sold for 185, right? He said it took less than 6 months, around 6 months, and he said that he bought it for 92. All right, cool. 92. It sold back in September, October, November, December, January, February, March. All right, 7 months. Okay. All right. Yep. All that adds up. All right, cool. And then lots of times you can easily find information on public record, right? So this house was purchased in Richland County. So I can go to the Richland County website, the county website where your investment is, or where your house is that you lent money on, and you can click on it, right? And you can see, okay, yeah, these numbers match up. Everything seems to match up. And then you can go to the property card, right? And what am I looking for? Noah's company's name's Revive Homes. All right, yep. He bought that house for 92, and then he went and sold it for 185. Yep, deal checks out. Okay, done. That took you guys 2 minutes. Inspect what you expect. All right, inspect what you expect. So have conversations, and if you are a borrower, be prepared, right? Make it easy. Our job as a borrower is to be a great borrower. How can we do that? By making it easy to work with us. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Lender, here's links to the past 10 projects that we've done. I've made it super easy for you to do your due diligence, right? I got the prom note, the mortgage, personal guarantee, all team set up with accountants, make your life super easy. We're making it very easy to work with us, right? So that people want to work with us over and over and over again. Right. Good stuff. All right, cool. Jose, I know you probably got to hop off, man. I know you're probably doing a demo right now. Guys, if you would like to see what it's like in Private Money Club, if you're outside looking in, why not take a tour with the best tour man in town, Jose Harkin. Just click the link, schedule a call. Jose can give you a back office tour of Private Money Club, show you how to post a deal, show you how to post in the forum, show you how to message people. There's also learning centers and things like that in there. And you can schedule a call with Jose by clicking that link right there that ends with Blueprint 1. And I'm sure he'd love to help you out any way that he can. So Jose, I'm sure you got to hop off, man. I know your time is valuable, and there's probably somebody waiting for you. So thank you, my friend. Good to see your name on here. Thank you so much. I'm going to answer a few questions, you guys, and then we're gonna sign off because it's 2:01. We've been going for an hour and a minute now. Okay, is it okay to ask a borrower to speak with some past lenders that they've worked with? Yeah, absolutely. Great question. That is a great question. I don't see what the issue is with that. I think that is an excellent question to ask. As a borrower, I would love it if someone asked me for references, because that shows that you're serious. And I know that if I've done my job and I've communicated well and I've done what I said I was going to do, that whoever you talk to is going to give a great review of what it was like working with us, and it's going to make you more confident and all more likely to end up working with us in the long run if you're doing things right. Yep, cool. I love this. Chris says, hey, due diligence. The banks do it all the time. You as a private lender should do the same. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And don't let anyone tell you, well, if I was going to give all that information, I would have just gone to a bank. That's probably a lie. They're just exaggerating. They're just mad that they got to go do work and put something together for you. All right. Ask for it. It'll be fine. Last week we were on our private, everyone that's in Private Money Club every third Thursday, there's a 2-hour coaching session if you're a premier member. And we were in that coaching session, and there was a woman there, I can't remember her name, but she had used hard money to fund a recent deal, and it was just like the worst experience ever. And by the way, I've used hard money a lot. I still, I'm almost exclusive private, but I still have relationships with different types of banks. So I'm not hating on banks. Her experience was that she paid over $60,000 in fees, points, and just BS crap to get this loan funded. Granted, it was like $1 million Airbnb or something crazy, like really, really nice, higher price point, but $60,000, you guys. So for someone to say I'll just go to a bank, they're gonna pay out the wazoo by not using private money, right? So just make them do the work. Make them do the work, and if they can't provide what you're asking for, there's plenty of people in Private Money Club that can, right? So I hope you guys are learning a lot on these calls. You're welcome. I feel like this was a really good one. If I was a borrower right now, let me just put up this slide so you guys know what to work on. You can sign off if you need to sign off. I totally get it. If you got to sign off, you can sign off. Let me just put this up here. This is make a move slide. Now, granted, this is from last week, so don't mind the last bullet point. That was for last week's students because we did have a coaching call last Thursday night. But here you go, guys. If I were you and I was like, man, this was awesome, I got to figure out what I should be working on right now. Here's a couple things that you could choose from. Number one, practice the fundamentals. Practice your elevator pitches. Practice talking about private money. The first 15 minutes, 20 minutes of the call, that's what we did, right? Go back, watch the tape. Hopefully you're taking notes, right? Writing things down. Schedule a call with the team. Hopefully you clicked on the link if you're new to Private Money Club and want to learn more about it. Attend next week's call, Thursday, 1 o'clock, Quickstart webinar. We do it 1 o'clock Eastern time every single Thursday. And then create a profile. If you don't have a PMC profile, go create one. Go create one. Start free or just jump into Premiere. It's up to you. And then if you'd like to learn with me and really dive into things a little more aggressively, the accelerator course starts August 12th. Cool. All right, guys, have a great week. Look forward to celebrating your wins, and I will see you next Thursday. Oh, next Thursday is 4th of July. I think we should still do it. I don't know. I think we should still do it. I mean, 1 o'clock practice, 4th of July. That way, when you guys are out watching the fireworks, rotating the hot dogs on the grill, I mean, that's prime time, private money lending conversation time. I'm just saying, consistency, baby. I don't know. I'm going to talk to the big guys. I'll talk to Chris. I'll talk to Steven. I'd be like, hey, what do you want to do? I think a 4th of July Quickstart webinar, need I say fireworks? I don't know. No hot plants and fruit. Oh, you're flipping your, I don't know, eggplants? We flip the corn on the cob, right? When the corn on the cob, grilling the corn on the cob. Great time to talk about private money lending, right? Okay. All right, cool. All right, guys, I'll keep you posted and we'll let you know. We'll get those emails out if we're going to do it next week or not. I'm going to say probably. All right. All right. Take care. All right. Happy